In today's episode of the podcast, we're going to talk about The 5 Rules of Money by Dave Ramsey. This audio recording includes subtitles so you can follow along more intentionally and absorb the ideas at your own pace. Feel free to share your thoughts and enjoy. Dave Ramsey, a well-known personal finance expert, often emphasizes that while money can solve certain logistical problems, it cannot fundamentally change one's nature or character. Instead, money amplifies what already exists in a person's heart. If someone is kind and generous, additional resources allow them to give more. If someone is miserable or selfish, additional resources tend to expand those negative tendencies. In a talk titled, "You Only Need to Know These 5 Rules," Ramsey underscores this central truth and then lays out a straightforward plan for attaining financial stability and success. The plan includes 5 core principles: creating a budget, getting out of debt, fostering high-quality relationships, saving and investing, and practicing generosity. By understanding and applying these 5 steps, individuals can begin to transform their financial outlook, establish long-term stability, and enjoy both the tangible and intangible benefits that come from wise money management. One of Ramsey's first observations addresses a critical misconception: the idea that money alone can generate lasting happiness. He rebuts this notion by asserting that money makes you more of what you already are. In other words, if you are naturally inclined to be generous, more money will enable you to share more with others, fund causes you care about, and experience greater fulfillment through philanthropy. Conversely, if someone is already miserable, greedy, or prone to unhealthy habits, having extra funds may only deepen those issues. This perspective challenges a common cultural trope that achieving a certain income bracket or net worth translates directly to happiness. Ramsey's argument aligns with the psychological concept that well-being is often influenced by internal traits like gratitude, optimism, and compassion, rather than solely by external factors. People who chase money as their singular solution frequently find that their interpersonal struggles, stress, or other personal issues remain. In emphasizing that money is not a cure-all, Ramsey highlights the principle of cause and effect. You reap what you sow. This time-tested adage frames the idea that our outcomes, especially in the financial sphere, are largely determined by our consistent actions and habits. Planting stupid, as Ramsey humorously puts it, will inevitably produce undesirable results. By contrast, planting good financial habits like conscientious spending and disciplined saving creates a foundation upon which financial stability can flourish. This idea resonates with many faith traditions, including the biblical text Ramsey cites, but it also stands on its own as a universal truth in personal development. If you put in the work, maintain consistent effort, and make mindful choices, you are far more likely to achieve the results you want. From this foundation, Ramsey introduces his audience to 5 core principles that he asserts will reliably build a level of wealth over 10 to 15 years if followed diligently. These principles are not reliant on gimmicks or shortcuts. Rather, they are grounded in discipline, consistency, and the avoidance of harmful financial habits. Ramsey clarifies that this is not about guaranteeing everyone becomes wildly rich. Instead, these guidelines ensure a person's wealth steadily increases, setting them on a path to greater financial freedom. The first principle is to create a written budget every month, on paper, on purpose. By this, Ramsey means that you should decide in advance where your money is going. Far too many people handle their finances passively. They wait to see how much will be left at the end of the month, hope there is enough to pay the bills, and allow impulse purchases to dictate their spending. A monthly budget changes all of that. It brings order and clarity to what can otherwise be a chaotic situation. It also helps people identify financial leaks, small, unnecessary expenses that add up quickly. Having a budget can feel like a burden at first, but it soon becomes the roadmap that guides every financial decision. The second principle, getting out of debt, is central to Ramsey's entire financial philosophy. Debt, according to Ramsey, is the primary barrier to wealth building. He cites a telling example. The average car payment in the United States is about $500 a month, yet investing that same amount consistently from age 30 to age 70 in a decent growth stock mutual fund could yield millions of dollars. Every time a person takes on debt, whether it is from a student loan, credit card, car note, or any other source, they effectively surrender a portion of their future income to repay that obligation with interest. Ramsey likens this to a form of slavery. You become bound to the lender, and your freedom to choose how you allocate your money shrinks significantly. By methodically paying down existing debts, starting with the smallest and working upward in what he calls the debt snowball method, and ceasing to borrow more, individuals begin to reassert control over their income. Over time, the amount once dedicated to monthly payments can then be channeled into saving, investing, and giving. Debt is often normalized in modern society. Credit cards, mortgages, student loans, and car leases are frequently presented as standard tools for achieving various life goals. Advertisements suggest that having these forms of credit is not only acceptable, but also expected. Ramsey challenges this narrative by revealing the long-term cost of such obligations, especially those that depreciate, like vehicles, or are tied to high interest rates, like many credit cards. His stance is certainly countercultural. He advocates for living without credit cards, saving up for a car instead of financing it, and even being cautious with seemingly routine loans like mortgages. While mortgages can be strategic if handled responsibly, the essence of his message is that fewer debts mean a greater degree of financial security and freedom. Once debt is under control, the third principle is to foster high-quality relationships. On the surface, this may not sound like a standard piece of personal finance advice, but Ramsey ties it directly to the notion. Ultimately, Dave Ramsey's "You only need to know these 5 rules" reminds us that money, while it can be a powerful force, remains a tool, one that should be managed wisely rather than allowed to dictate the course of our lives. The steps he outlines are designed to empower individuals to take charge of their finances, redirecting the money they earn toward building a secure future for themselves and their families, and opening up opportunities to make a positive impact in the world. Whether one is deeply in debt or simply looking for more structured money management, the 5 rules serve as a roadmap to a better relationship with money, rooted in discipline, intentionality, and generosity. By following these principles, people can transform not only their bank accounts, but also their daily experiences, fostering greater peace of mind, healthier relationships, and a more profound sense of purpose.